The NFL Live, so much to get to, and 10 teams back in their buildings. The quarterback questions continue in Cleveland. We're going to hear from their new head coach, Todd Monken, today. Plus, how about an all-quarterback mock draft? Yep, you got it. Ben Solak stopping by to reveal where he has all of the QB prospects landing in this year's draft. And the latest on the giant issue developing in New York. Defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence wants a trade. Is that a good idea for the G-men? And, well, who should be on the phone calling New York? Hi, everybody. I'm Hannah Storm alongside Jeremy Fowler. Booger McFarland's going to be with us. The great Louis Riddick is here with all of his knowledge. And off-season programs are underway for teams with new head coaches. So we're going to begin the program with some news out of Houston. Jeremy, what's happening?
Yes, the latest from our Field Yates. Two Texan stars, pass rusher Will Anderson, quarterback C.J. Stroud, are getting their fifth-year options picked up. That means they're under contract for 2026 and 2027. The Texans want to keep their core intact. They made two picks 3 years ago and have these two players in the fold. Expect some more money to be spent, possibly on Will Anderson, on a big contract in the future.
Well, because also this offseason, Jeremy, as you know, the Texans locked down Danielle Hunter on a one-year extension. They traded for Lions running back David Montgomery. They reworked the offensive line again. Houston holds the 28th pick in the draft, coming off 3 straight divisional round losses under DeMeco Ryans. And Louis, we have talked about it ad nauseum, but just to remind people, C.J. Stroud, 5 fumbles against the Steelers, 4 first-half picks against the Patriots. It was just an absolute disaster. How do they move beyond their playoff woes?
Yeah, I think a lot of this obviously starts with C.J. himself. Obviously, ball security, making good decisions, throwing the football with accuracy. All of those kind of things are the kind of things that C.J. is going to have to go back to the drawing board and really get into the film room and figure out why it was maybe that he took some chances with the football that he didn't need to. What does he have to do as far as making sure that the ball's coming out on time, that he's protecting the ball better in the pocket? And then, as a team, and as a front office, they got to make sure that this offensive line is straight. Look, they were 32nd in the NFL in run block win rate. That's just not, you just can't win that way. You cannot win.
What's up, everybody? We are back. And today we are watching the Spurs post-game show, Spurs Live. The Spurs just beat the Portland Trailblazers 112-101. And here's why that matters. They did it without Victor Wembanyama, without Stephen Castle, without their 2 best players. And they still won by 11 points. Let me put this in perspective. The Spurs have 61 wins. That's the most wins this franchise has had since the 2016 to 2017 season. You know what happened that year? They went to the Western Conference Finals. And that team had prime Kawhi Leonard, prime LaMarcus Aldridge, Manu Ginobili, Patty Mills. This team, they have a 21-year-old alien, a bunch of rookies, and De'Aaron Fox. And they're just as deep. The hosts pointed out that 6 different players finished in double figures tonight. 6. Without Wemby. Without Castle. That's not a 2-man team. That's a roster. De'Aaron Fox led the way with 25 points. And here's a stat they mentioned. Fox averages about 25 points in games when Wemby is not available. He did it again tonight. And he did it in every way possible. Transition pull-up threes. Mid-range floaters. Spot-up catch and shoot. He had 7 assists, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals. The hosts called him Swiper because he was swiping everything on defense. That's a great nickname. But here's what really impressed me. The bench scored 48 points. Portland's bench had 10. 48-10. That's not a game. That's a clinic. Keldon Johnson, playing in his ADT. Each game of the season, had 20 points and 8 rebounds. He was using his big body, getting in the paint, creating his own shot, grabbing offensive rebounds. He's been available every single night. That matters in the playoffs. And then there's the rookies. Carter Bryant had a career night. Career-high 17 points. Career-high 5 made threes. Career-high 4 assists. He became just the 5th rookie in Spurs history to make at least 5 threes in a game. The other names on that list? Victor Wembanyama, Julian Champagnie, Gary Neal, Davis Bertans. That's pretty good company. And Bryant did it playing small ball 4, picking and popping, catching in rhythm, knocking down corner threes with confidence. The host said every single person in the arena was on their feet when he hit that last corner three. That's what depth looks like. Dylan Harper, the other rookie, had 2 steals and 2 blocks. The coach, Mitch Johnson, said Harper has always had great instincts and anticipation, but he's gotten much better at being disciplined, being in a stance, being switched on mentally from the jump. And he said, as he continues to improve his fitness and being switched on all the time, he will be very, very tough. That's high praise from a head coach. Now, let's talk about what this means for the playoffs. The Spurs are the 2 seed. They have home court through the conference finals, and they just proved they can win without their best player. That's huge, because in the playoffs, Odie is going to have a bad night. Somebody is going to get in foul trouble. Somebody is going to get hurt. And if your team can't win without its superstar, you're not a real contender. The Spurs can. They have depth. They have veterans. They have rookies who aren't afraid of the moment. The coach was asked if Carter Bryant has shown enough to be trusted in a playoff series. His answer: we'll see. He will play in the playoffs. Not maybe. Not if he earns it. He will play. That's a commitment. That's confidence. And the small ball lineup, without a traditional 5, did something impressive. Portland is one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league. The Spurs controlled them on the glass all night. Keldon Johnson tied for the team high in rebounds. Carter Bryant grabbed 5. They didn't miss Wemby's 10 rebounds because everybody crashed the glass. That's scheme. That's effort. That's coaching. The hosts asked about defensive communication. The coach said the small ball group hasn't played together much, but they're trying. They are connecting. The effort and intention to communicate has been pretty good, especially given the lack of on-the-job training. That's the Spurs way. It's not about talent. It's about execution. Now, let's look ahead. The Spurs host the Dallas Mavericks on Friday. Cooper Flagg, the front-runner for Rookie of the Year, is coming to town. He put up 50 points a few nights ago and still lost. So he's going to be hungry. Dylan Harper versus Cooper Flagg. 2 rookies who should be first-team All-Rookie. That's must-watch basketball. But here's the bigger picture. The Spurs are 61-19. They have 2 games left in the regular season. Wemby is expected back on Friday to secure his eligibility for Defensive Player of the Year. And then the real season begins. The playoffs. Where the Spurs haven't been since 2019. Where they haven't won a series since 2017. Where Wemby has never played. And you know what? I'm not scared for them. Because they just showed me something. They won without him. They won without their second best player. They won because their bench outscored the opponent's bench by 38 points. That's not a fluke. That's a system. That's a culture. That's the Spurs. Here's my question for you. Does any team in the West want to face the Spurs in the first round? And can Carter Bryant be a playoff rotation player? Drop a comment. Let me know. And if you want more of these breakdowns, hit that like button and subscribe. We are building something real here. I'll see you in the next one.